Campaigning in Malaysia's 6 state elections is in the final stretch, and observers say the last few days ahead of polling are crucial for candidates to win the hearts of fence-sitters. Well, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's ruling coalition is the incumbent in Selangor, Negeri Sembilan and Penang, while opposition Perikatan Nasional has control of Kedah, Kelantan and Terengganu. The prediction is for an overall lower voter turnout this Saturday compared to the general election last November. Analysts believe the lower numbers could pose a risk for Mr. Anwar's Pakatan Harapan, as many of the coalition supporters are ethnic minorities who are based away from their home state. And for the very latest, we have with us Leong Wai Kit, who is in Kedah. Wai Kit, I know that you have been working up the sweat, walking the ground in Kedah and in Penang as well. Compare and contrast with us, for us, the campaigning efforts in both states and what stood out.
Right, Oteli, by and large, there are fewer rallies or churamas as is known here because a lot of the campaigning efforts have gone online. And if you think about it, it makes absolute sense because one, it follows the momentum from last year's general election, and two, half of all the voters eligible to vote this time round is under the age of 40, which means one effective way to reach them will be on social media. But of course, there are still your physical churamas here and there. I've attended a few in Penang and Kedah. The major coalitions are campaigning along familiar narratives. Pakatan Harapan fighting for clean, non-corrupt government. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has mentioned several times that he'll be bringing in more businesses to uplift the lives of Malaysians. Perikatan Nasional, on the other hand, is also calling for a clean, non-corrupt government, but it's also saying that it wants to uplift morality of Malaysians.
Wai Kit, I believe that you have also spoken to a number of people, perhaps trawled through some social media website. What is the general sentiment on the ground, and especially these fence-sitters, you know? I mean, what is going to sway them? What's going to determine that?
Right, Oteli. Let's start with Penang, where regardless of whom I speak to, what race they are, where I speak to them about in Penang, they tell me one uniform message, that one, they're very supportive of the current DAP government, which is part of the Pakatan Harapan's coalition. They're happy with DAP's performance. And two, they're also very supportive of Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's unity government having to work with their former enemy, Perikatan Nasional. But here in Kedah, which is a swing state, their views are more diverse. If you go to the Malay rural areas, the kampongs, and speak to the elderly pakcik makciks, the older aunties and uncles, they will tell me that they still reminisce the good old Perikatan Nasional days because their loyalty is understandable. They still have not forgotten that under BN, they got help to have houses, have land for their plantations. But down the family line, the middle-aged Malay folks in the kampong areas, they tell me that they're very supportive of the state government, the Perikatan Nasional. They say the caretaker Chief Minister Sanusi is a humble, sincere, and very down-to-earth politician. Here in the urban areas, voters are more expressive. They tell me that some of the policies of the state government resonate with them. For example, the state government's decision to close gambling outlets and to restrict sale of alcohol in some areas. But as you said earlier also, Oteli, there is a group of fence-sitters who have not decided. And analysts say this make up about 30 to 35% of the entire 9.7 million eligible voters. So we have to wait and see how these coalitions manage to woo and convince these voters who are going to be kingmakers in these state elections.
All right, very many thanks for walking the ground and going to all these kampong places. Thanks very much, Leong Wai Kit, reporting to us live from Kedah.